The average tomato takes 80 days from transplant to harvest. Peppers push past 90. Winter squash can take 120. Most gardeners accept this as the deal. You plant, you wait some more, and eventually maybe you eat something. But that timeline is not a law of nature. It is a consequence of which crops the gardening industry decided to promote. The big sellers, the ones that fill nursery benches every spring, are almost all slow growers. They photograph well on seed packets. They need months of your attention and dollars. Meanwhile, there are food plants that go from dry seed to your plate in days, not months. Some of them finish before a tomato seedling even develops its first true leaf. These are the crops that experienced growers slot into every gap, every shoulder season, every bare patch of soil. They are how you eat from your garden in weeks instead of waiting until August. Today I am giving you 7 of the fastest food plants you can grow, ranked from the most absurdly quick to the ones that still embarrass anything in the mainstream lineup. Number 1. Garden Cress. 10 days from seed to food. That is not a typo. Garden Cress, Lepidium sativum, germinates in 2 to 3 days and reaches harvestable size in 10 to 15 days. Under ideal conditions, some growers cut it in as few as 7. You can sow it on a Monday and put it in a salad a week from Wednesday. The flavor is sharp and peppery, somewhere between watercress and mustard. It packs more vitamin C per gram than oranges and more iron than spinach. British children have been growing it on wet paper towels as a school project for generations, which is probably why serious gardeners dismiss it. That dismissal is a mistake. Cress does not need good soil. It does not need full sun. It barely needs soil at all. A damp paper towel on a windowsill works. A shallow tray of potting mix works better. You can grow it year-round indoors, which means you have a fresh, peppery green available in January when your garden is frozen solid. The trick most people miss is succession sowing. Plant a new tray every 5 days and you have a permanent rolling harvest. No gap, no wait, no planning required. While your neighbor is still staring at tomato seedlings under a grow light, you are already eating. Number 2. Arugula. 21 days to baby leaf. Arugula is the crop that makes lettuce look lazy. Standard lettuce varieties need 45 to 60 days to reach full size. Arugula baby leaves are ready in 3 weeks flat. And unlike lettuce, arugula actually tastes like something. That nutty, peppery bite is not just a flavor preference. It is a sign of glucosinolates, the same cancer-fighting compounds found in broccoli and kale. Here is what the seed packet will not tell you. Arugula performs best in cool weather, which means it thrives in the exact windows most gardeners waste. Early spring before your warm season crops go in. Fall after your tomatoes are done. Even mild winters in zones 7 and above. It fills the dead zones in your calendar when nothing else is producing. Direct sow it thickly, a 1/4 inch deep, and cut the leaves at 2 to 3 inches tall. The plant regrows. You get 3 to 4 harvests from a single sowing before it bolts. One 10-foot row planted in March can produce salad greens through May. A fall sowing in September keeps going until hard frost. The grocery store sells a plastic clamshell of arugula for $4. That same $4 buys a seed packet that produces 100 times as much. If you've been buying arugula, you've been making a spectacularly bad deal. Number 3. Cherry Belle Radish, a finished root vegetable in 22 days. Most root vegetables are slow. Carrots take 70 to 80 days. Beets need 50 to 60. Potatoes want 3 to 4 months. The Cherry Belle Radish laughs at all of them. 3 weeks after you press that seed into the soil, you pull out a crisp, bright red, 1-inch globe with mild white flesh. This is not some novelty crop. Cherry Belle is an All-America Selections winner, which means it was trialed against hundreds of other varieties and came out on top. It has more vitamin C than you would expect from something that small, plus folate, vitamin B6, and calcium. It is a legitimate food, not a garnish. The speed comes from how the plant allocates energy. Instead of building a massive leaf canopy first, it dumps resources directly into the root, almost from day one. That is a fundamentally different growth strategy than most vegetables use, and it is why radishes have been the go-to fast crop for thousands of years. Plant them every 2 weeks from early spring through late fall. They handle light frost without flinching. A single 4x8 raised bed, succession planted, produces roughly 200 radishes per season. That is a root vegetable harvest most gardeners never come close to with their carrots and beets combined. Number 4. Baby Bok Choy, a complete vegetable in 30 days. Most brassicas are painfully slow. Cabbage needs 70 to 100 days. Brussels sprouts can take 130. Broccoli wants at least 60. Then there's Baby Bok Choy, specifically compact varieties like Toi Choy and Mei Ching Choy, which go from seed to a full harvestable plant in about 30 days. 30 days for a brassica is almost unfair. You get crisp white stems and tender green leaves with the same mild, sweet flavor that makes Bok Choy a staple in East Asian cooking. It stir-fries in 2 minutes. It adds body to soups. You can eat it raw in a slaw, and it holds its crunch better than lettuce. The reason most Western gardeners overlook bok choy is simple. It is not what the garden center promotes. The display tables in April are covered in tomato and pepper transplants because those have the highest markup. Baby bok choy seed costs almost nothing and needs no transplanting. That is a terrible business model for a nursery. It is an excellent business model for you. Direct sow in spring or fall, 4 inches apart, in any decent soil. It tolerates partial shade better than almost any other vegetable. You can tuck it under taller crops and harvest it before those crops even need the space. 30 days from bare soil to a cooked meal. Number 5. Tatsoi. Cold-proof greens in 21 days. If you have ever grown spinach and watched it bolt the second temperatures shift, Tatsoi is the answer you have been looking for. This low-growing Asian green forms a dense rosette of dark, spoon-shaped leaves. Baby leaves are ready in 21 days. Full-size rosettes take about 45. Either way, you are eating long before most crops hit their stride. But the real advantage is not speed, it is temperature tolerance. Tatsoi survives down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It keeps growing in conditions that would kill lettuce, spinach, and most other salad greens outright. Market farmers in New England grow it in unheated hoop houses through December and January. No supplemental heat, no grow lights. Just tatsoi being tatsoi. The flavor sits between spinach and mild mustard with a creamy texture when cooked. Nutritionally, it delivers high levels of vitamin A, vitamin C, and calcium. It contains more calcium per serving than most dairy products, which is a fact the dairy industry would prefer you did not dwell on. Sow it thickly for baby greens and cut it 2 inches. It regrows for multiple harvests, or space it out for full rosettes that can weigh half a pound each. Either way, you have a crop that fills the coldest, most unproductive months of your gardening year with fresh food. Number 6. Hakurei Turnip. The root you eat like an apple, ready in 38 days. Forget everything you think you know about turnips. If your reference point is the waxy, bitter, softball-sized thing your grandmother boiled into submission, the Hakurei is a different vegetable entirely. Bite into one raw and it tastes sweet, crisp, and almost fruity. No bitterness. No need to cook it. Farmers market customers who try one for the first time usually buy a bag on the spot. Hakurei turnips reach harvest size in 38 days, though you can pull baby turnips as early as 25. The key is to harvest them at 2 inches in diameter or smaller. Go bigger, and they start developing the sharpness people associate with old-school turnips. At 2 inches, they are essentially a crunchy, sweet snack that happens to grow underground. Here is the part that should bother you. This turnip has been a staple of Japanese home gardens for decades. It is the default turnip in East Asian cuisine. American seed catalogs carried it for years with minimal fanfare while promoting the same tired purple top varieties that taste like punishment. The information was available. The supply chain just did not care to push it. Both the root and the greens are edible. The tops cook down like a milder, sweeter version of mustard greens. 2 crops from one planting in just over a month. Number 7. Provider bush beans. Protein from your garden in 50 days. Every crop on this list so far has been a green or a root. Provider bush beans break the pattern. 50 days from direct sowing to picking your first snap beans. That is fast for any vegetable. For a legume that produces actual protein, it is remarkable. Provider is the variety commercial growers choose when they need a reliable early crop. It germinates in cool soil as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which means you can direct sow 2 to 3 weeks before your last frost date. Most bean varieties rot in cold soil. Provider shrugs it off. That head start compounds. While other gardeners wait for warm soil in late May, you are picking beans in early June. Each plant produces 6-inch pods with solid flavor and a satisfying snap. A single 10-foot row yields roughly 5 pounds of beans. But the real value is what happens underground. Like all legumes, Provider fixes atmospheric nitrogen into the soil through symbiotic bacteria on its roots. You harvest food and leave the ground richer than you found it. That is not a trade-off. That is a free upgrade. If you have been growing only greens and roots for fast harvests, Provider fills the protein gap. It dries well for winter storage. It freezes perfectly. And at 50 days, it still finishes faster than a single tomato. 7 crops. The slowest one on this list still finishes faster than a single mainstream tomato plant. The fastest one is done before most seeds in your garden have even germinated. The standard gardening calendar assumes you plant in May and eat in August. That is 3 months of waiting for people who chose the wrong crops. You do not have to play that game. Stack these plants into your rotation, fill the gaps between your slow growers, and you will eat from your garden almost year-round. If this changed how you think about your garden timeline, subscribe. More like this is coming.